Ai, koe ara ia ko te iri, ko te urunga tū, ko te urunga pai, ko te urunga mā tika tika, ko te urunga mā rangaranga e ka mā matike maranga. And welcome to the 2020 Bunnings Warehouse National Touch Championships. And we have a big game coming up in the open women's grade. We have Waikato, who will be running from right to left, coming up against their opposition, Canterbury Red. So it's Waikato Black on the right side of your screen, who will be playing against Canterbury Red.
Kia ora hoa, it's Michael King here, General Manager, Touch New Zealand, yes, and as you look on the screen, we have Canterbury on our left, going to right as they tap off with the ball, with the goal, with the tap off here, and just like that, Canterbury are down on near the try line of the Waikato Black team. So Waikato are one of those provinces that have fielded, I think, 2 Opens teams. So they are looking at developing more of their female players. As just like that, Taylor Albridge with the Touch Fit 360 replay. See the setup by number 1, Te Kahu for Canterbury. Sweet play, show and go. And Ulrich, just like that, cuts across the line, and Canterbury open up their bank account with a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm liking the look of this Canterbury side. They're bringing a lot of energy and playing eyes up footy. They would have come in with set moves, but they're just looking up, seeing what this Waikato defence is presenting to them. So we see this Waikato Red team with a lot of young players. They'll be looking to develop, as you mentioned, 2 Opens teams in this grade.
Yeah, and certainly we've got a number of, as you said, young players in this Waikato Black, but young but still have some experience.
Tika.
Yeah, a few of them have spent some time in the 16 grades in our New Zealand squads. But then if you look across to the Canterbury team, they have some very, very experienced players here. And some who are still wearing the Touch Black women's colours. We look at number 9, especially for Canterbury Red, Janelle Kavanagh. And we've got touchdown number 2, Emil Atkin in the Uffy replay. Where you see ball in hand, Stone looks to go wide. Atkins out to her winger. And just like that, it is try number 2 for the Canterbury Red.
Yeah, and it's a nice start here by this Canterbury side. They've gone bang bang early on. Waikato will look to come back, strike back. Look in the backdoor play. Reset. They'll come to this 32. The loop. Nice little right to left there. But the defence of Whitney Tipple is up to it out there on the wing.
Yeah, great opportunity there. And, yeah, potentially a touchdown there, but Canterbury equal to that defence. However, in that time they played ball in hand, it just didn't come off for them. So Waikato are in a prime position here.
Yeah, even though they dropped the ball there, I'm liking the confidence this Canterbury team is bringing to this game. Early on, they're looking to just shift the ball and see and play what's in front of them. They saw an opportunity out wide on the first touch and they went there. Didn't come off this time, but towards the back end, it may pay dividends.
All right, tika tono e hoa. Topia, Crossley. Looks to set up something for Waikato, but the execution lets them down. Te Kahu. Nice run forward by Soma Te Kahu. Liking the go forward, the speed of Canterbury as they make yards. Waikato player in the way but didn't play at the ball, so that's a handover, ball to ground.
Yeah, and we see number 13 there with the ball, carrying it up here. This is Carmen Mataira. She's the partner of Hoyata Maxwell Blake, who scored the winning try last year in the finals for the Waikato Open men's. The last 3 years, she's been at home looking after the 3 kids, but this year she's laced up the boots again. It's a positive attack here for this Waikato side.
Righty, what positive attack, although it didn't come off. I talked about this player earlier, Janelle Kavanagh. She's running down the wing, which is normally a position occupied by her brother in the men's grade, Michael Kavanagh. Here we go in the Indomi replay.
Yeah,
Ball goes wide. No look pass there by Hutchinson. Ella Hutchinson finding the running, sprinting Janelle Kavanagh, who can go all day. She's a very fit player. Great grit and determination that she displays in the New Zealand Open Women's. There's Janelle.
As you said, runs in the whānau. As we see this Waikato side, been unfortunate in these first few minutes not to score. So they'll be looking to get into it here.
Yeah, and you saw there an opportunity by Selena William-Petts from the Manawatu area, but of playing for Waikato at this Nationals. She is at university in her second year at University of Waikato. So sometimes when you've got people going to university, they sometimes tend to play for that university province, in this case, Waikato. Great ball in hand. Great movement by the Canterbury woman here. And just like that, we see in the SAS Sport replay. Nice balance set up. But not afraid, as you said earlier, Eohoa, the confidence to let the ball go.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes that's what you need to do, is to let the ball do the talking. And the ball will always beat the man. And that's what Canterbury are embodying out there today. They're not scared just to throw it, just to force that 50-50 pass. It's a bit of a gamble. We see this Waikato side, they're back out there. See, Mataira calling this 32 loop play, and the nice little dive. The defense of Te Kahu was up to it. So, Waikato looking to kill it down this far end. That's good knowledge there of the game.
Right. Yeah, good play by the Waikato Women's on that last play, as we just give a shout out to the referees here. We've got Caitlin Kimpton from Counties Manukau, Hannah Shepherd from the Natal province. So we've got an official from South Africa here, also a part of our nationals, and Nola Isaac from Waikato. Nola on the field at the moment, and you will be able to tell Hannah Shepherd because she is wearing her national referee gear. She just came into shot there. So it's great to be able to have officials from other jurisdictions, other countries, come in and participate in our New Zealand Nationals.
Oh, absolutely, and it's good experience not only for the refs but also the players who do move on to higher honours. They will be accustomed to how foreign referees do officiate the game. As we know, there are variations in each country. As we see this combo, number 11, Wilson, Motakuhe, Rebecca Smeel, and Kavanagh. Nice dive there. A little bit short though.
It's Kevin at dummy half. If you just see on her right leg, she's got a bit of a tape or plaster over an injury that she. There's a bit of a freak injury that occurred at our Touch Black camp where her and another player's shins sort of collided and it actually split. Gave a little split to Janelle. So
Okay.
yeah, so ended up taking her to hospital. She's on the mend, nothing major, and but she is one tough cookie.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's hindered her speed.
She wanted to come back and start running again, so that is it's the resilience and strength of Janelle. As Waikato looking to make their way down, but just stopped over halfway. So great defense by Canterbury. They certainly have got a well-organised structure at both ends, both on their attack and being able to isolate Waikato as they come through the field.
Yeah, some nice work here by Canterbury, making their way out the field. A lot of possession. Field position I'm talking about has been down this end. So we see Waikato making their way up the field. Showing some good fitness, this Waikato side. They're still in it early on in this first half. Waikato to go to their last play, and they'll kill it on the other end. We've spoken about this, Ehua. If you can't score or get a repeat set, the best thing is to kill the ball far from the opposition's sub box. So they use 1, 2, 3 touches to get to the sub box. We see the fitness of this Canterbury side.
Yep.
Not even going to the sub box, just getting back into the mahi. Yards straight up the field.
And we talked about experience, and there you go, in dummy half, Jade Bowen. Certainly got the experience. She also does personal training. She's very fit and has been part of the New Zealand team, New Zealand women's team. As again, we see everything starts from a very stable base for Canterbury, and she is enjoying herself. It's young Jade Bowen. And she finds space in the back area of Waikato's touchdown zone.
Yeah, I like that stable base. And as we see, good yards, and they're rewarded for it. The last scoop on the end, the defensive line was called offside. If you're in a positive attacking set, 9 times out of 10, the ref will give you the advantage. So we see this Waikato side still looking to get on the board here. In the first half, they come to this blind side. Nice big pass right to left. Unfortunately, it's too big. But another good finish for this Waikato side.
Just that just the looping pass, just not able to connect to the Waikato winger. I'm sure when you are playing a game against a very well-drilled Canterbury team, you will learn a lot, and they certainly are not holding back here. Waikato, however, equal to the defensive need so far. And that's a good defensive set. But again, you can see the speed and the execution of Canterbury as they make their way through the field.
Yeah, Canterbury with a nice 3-lead buffer here. So what they'll do, they'll look to just control the ball, complete their sets, like we saw in the 50s game. The Auckland side just completing all their sets towards the end of the first half. They'll go back to drinks, have a bit of a break, reassess. I don't think they need to change too much, this Canterbury side. It's just these little 1%ers. As you see, they bring on some fresh legs in the form of Kavanagh. She's one of the go-to speedsters in this side.
Williamson onto Stone. And there she is again. Jade Bowen. As we see the Bunnings Warehouse replay, we talked about stable base. This is just straight ball in hand, committing the player, collapsing the Waikato defense, and Jade Bowen cruises over the line for Canterbury's 4th touchdown here with a commanding lead 4-0. And you talked earlier around regrouping and the coaching staff talking potentially what they will talk about at halftime. We give a shout out to the coaching staff of the Waikato Black team, coaching us Howie Rota, assistant coach Gordon Finlay, with managers Stevie Ray, Mana Waiti, and Marissa Rota. And for the Canterbury Red team, we have player coach Samna Takahu, manager Kath Mulligan, and Kath is also quite an experienced manager in the youth program, the New Zealand youth program.
Oh, kia ora.
And we have 2 physio staff, Nicola Shaw and Amir Ogoram.
There's no shortage of talent and skill sets off the field. On the field, it's all Canterbury at this stage. Te Kahu looking for that last pass. You see some very athletic players out there for this Canterbury side.
Yeah, and this just reminds me of
Yourself?
no, yeah, dropping the ball. This reminds me of just a clip I saw on Facebook the other day on 7th Touch of some of the Canterbury players of yesteryears, the women's team, the likes of, and we've got in this team also a very experienced player in number 10, Frankie Polo, who has been in the New Zealand team, has been played Canterbury women's for many years, alongside our most recent Touch Black coach down in Canterbury, Liana Fox.
Kia ora.
So big mihi to Liana and her whānau, her parents, who have contributed a lot to the touch community over years. As we see Kavanagh with a scoop, looking for a player and finding Rebecca Smeal. And just like that, Canterbury take the score to 5, Waikato 0.
Yeah, and it's just their fluid transition here. They're going from yards to attacking sets so easily. Seems like a seamless transition. And that's just drill. We talk about 1,000 hours. If you do something over and over, it becomes intuitive. It just becomes second nature. It's Canterbury side.
Yeah, you're right, Eho. I think you've got to add plus 9,000 to that 1,000. They talk about 10,000.
Oh, kia ora.
But maybe for your skill set, you
Nah,
only need 1,000.
That's me just being lazy, not wanting to do the other 9,000. Hoping that it's 1,000 and not 10,000. Here we are, not Canterbury back on the attack here. Nice touch. And you mentioned the refs, Ehoa. We've seen they're really opening up the games, so they're being very generous with the 5 meters.
Yes.
Just allowing these players to express themselves.
They certainly are, and we're seeing when we start to talk about a stable base, a lot of that comes about from tidying up the ruck area
Yeah.
and really wanting players to make sure there's space, and that's what we're getting. We're seeing that. We're seeing a flow in the game, and when you have a flow at pace and speed and timing, as we're seeing with this Canterbury women's team, then working off the back end is a dangerous recipe, and Waikato are finding that out during this first half.
Yeah, absolutely. We see this Canterbury team is just very clinical. I like the eyes up footy that they're playing. Not just sticking to their structures and their set yards pattern. Just looking up and seeing what the defence is giving them. You see Te Kahu back in the middle here. They look to run this dingo plate back down the short side. Nice little left foot. And the dive, and they're going to give it. It's number 2, Aldridge, Taylor Aldridge. Was it a backdoor? Yeah, it was a sweep play, sorry. Wasn't the dingo. And you see just the easy left foot dive. Bit of miscommunication in defence there. But this Canterbury side will go to half-time up 6-0.
Just apologies there to the mentor, Mr. Graham, for the backdoor sweep. It's not a dingo play going low. So, as we see, part of the support staff in the subbing box for Canterbury, number 8, Hayley Lee, wearing the jacket for this game, but also a touchback player. But there's the opportunity here for this young Waikato team, and we don't want to use that label to say as an excuse. This is an opportunity for players to come out there and show their wares, for the coaching staff to actually put a game plan that they can actually reach their potential around the skill sets that they have. But again, we've probably said this earlier, is we're finding to able to get a good strike at the back end is making sure that we're getting good direct go forward. We've got clean ruck ball area, and I think we've seen that as a masterclass by these Canterbury Women's in their go forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the key word from you is a platform. They're setting up a nice platform for themselves in this first half, this Canterbury side, and I think that's where I think Waikato can adopt the same strategy as they are coming up the field. They're a little bit just disjointed. There's a few little key ruck mistakes creeping in, and some little errors there. So if they tidy that up and lay a pretty clean platform for them towards the back end of their attacking sets, I know that these girls have talent, and they can finish off these nice sets.
Yeah, they certainly have, and there is talent, and there's developing talent that sits in both of these teams. And the thing that we've seen in a number of years, both in the Canterbury and Otago province, is development of their female players, the development of coaches, and we see Canterbury here as a prime example. I talked earlier about the massive contribution, a player like Liana Fox, who has played many years both at the provincial New Zealand and contributed both in the New Zealand context as a coach. And we're seeing women coaches here. It's just that opportunity for the whole platform around the game for our women is just growing and growing, And I suppose one of the offshoots of that is we're seeing a few touchies in our women's sevens program.
Yeah, koia. We spoke about the men who have come from touch. Our Sean Johnsons, our Benji Marshalls, our Nehe Milner-Skara. But we do also see the development of not only our sevens players, but also in our women's NRL teams. A lot of touchies, so they learn a huge skill set. Catch, pass, quick feet, all fundamental to any sport of the oval ball.
We've got current players in the New Zealand women's program, regular members of that squad. Tyler Nathan Wong,
Yep.
Niall Williams,
Koia.
two just for an example. And we've got players in there who have played in the age group system
Yep.
and now they're so
Local girl Stacey Waka.
Aye. So wonderful. And we see when we're watching games like this and we see this talent, you could see why rugby would want a piece of this. So.
Absolutely. The core skills that you do learn in touch, and you have to learn it in a higher intensity in a much quicker game. Not too many stoppages in our touch. So not only the quick skills, but the quick skills under pressure, under fatigue.
This is where Waikato really need to make sure they keep going forward. Don't slow the pace down.
Yeah, some nice yards here by Waikato. They'll look to kill it down this far end. But that's better play from Waikato. Some good positive orange zone attacking. Connecting well through the yards. As we see Kavanagh take the ball up for this Canterbury side.
All right. You're right here. Well, we talked about it at halftime. One of the probably platforms that Waikato need to work on is just their go forward. And we saw a good example there. So it would be pleasing for the coach to see his players take that on board. And another show and go by the Canterbury number 2, Taylor Aldridge.
Yeah, and just when we say Waikato are doing well on attack, we can't go away from what this Canterbury side has done all day. It's just hard yards up the middle.
Yeah, and you see an example there of an active player. So we're watching Sumner Takahu made the pass and then wrapped around. So when Aldridge had the ball, went forward, it made the defender think about the wrapper as well. Made her...
2 minds.
Yeah, 2 minds. Opened up the space and just like that. But here we go. Waikato getting themselves set up on the 5.
Nice little play there. Number 5, Orahia to get it down. Unfortunately, she threw the ball away there. So Canterbury back on the attack. What I'm very impressed with this Canterbury side. They just run this arrows play right up the middle. We see most teams, they go to their sub box. That's the first thing they think of. But just showing the fitness at this elite level just to stay on for 3, 4, 5 sets in a row.
Exactly, and then again they're backing it up on the defensive end. So when you can come into a game with superior fitness and play at a pace, then there is more of an opportunity for you to create something.
Tick up. And you see the players who do come with superior fitness. You see the hours and days and months they have put in. It looks effortless for them out there. It's just like they're gliding. They're not slumped over. They're not heavily breathing.
That's right here, what? They're doing probably a little bit more than those 1,000 hours. That little fumble there by Brown, unfortunately, is Waikato did a great job to get themselves into that zone where they could have a strike at the line. Just a little fumble there in the end. As we see, we talked about the Auckland juggernaut, but here we go. The Canterbury one is as equally, or if not more impressive. Hannah Sumner. They go out to the wing.
Yes, that same style of play. just to shovel the ball on. The Waikato defence quick to adapt. We see an injury here.
Yeah, you know what I'm really liking about the style of Canterbury is they'll make the pass, but they stay alive.
Yeah.
Because if it's coming back, then they have realigned, got themselves back on side. So always options. And this is what I'm seeing. This is what we are witnessing in this game is this women's team making themselves available, keeping the options alive.
Yeah. Tika. So last play there, so comes back to Waikato. Just over 13 minutes left in the second half. We've seen nothing but a clinic by this Canterbury side, who will be contenders towards the back end of this competition to take out the top spot. Now we see Waikato with this development team. They've brought 2 open women's this year.
Yeah, and I suppose, and I think when you're watching the game and you're trying to understand it, and as we see a runaway by Janelle Kavanagh again, I think the plaster is just there for the look now, Janelle, because that speed.
Just like the Hawke's Bay.
That's right.
They strap up a knee just to give the impression that they're injured, but really...
We talk about, people with superior fitness and who put in the work. Janelle is certainly one of those people who is not afraid to dig deep and do the work by herself. Spend those hours where people are not watching in order to come in to both test matches and games like this, doing the hard yards.
Absolutely. Muhammad Ali said it. The fight's won and lost way before you dance under the lights. It's out on the streets. It's in the gym. It's running Bronco ladders. That's the latest fitness craze I've been seeing online.
I just go on to the next video. And here we go. Canterbury come through the field again. Aldridge has been sensational. She's been everything. Been saying that. So has the rest of this Canterbury women's team. Great connection. Great fundamentals. And what I would expect as the Pathways and High Performance manager for the game, what I'm seeing from our New Zealand talent here, from our girls, is what I would expect at all levels. And they're certainly bringing it with the likes of Jade Bowen, Janelle Kavanagh, and the likes are showing why they deserve to be a force to be reckoned with.
Tika. And you spoke about the pathways. There are a lot more pathways for these young ladies to come through and touch now?
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of opportunity, and we've got a busy calendar ahead of us as we think about what's coming next past this 2020 Bunnings National Touch Championship event. We've got later in the year, the New Zealand Under-16 Tour, where we have our development boys, girls and mixed teams who go across to the Gold Coast to experience game and game pace against Aussie-based teams. In April, the end of April, we've got the 2020 Youth the Open Trans-Tasman against our Australian counterparts back in Newcastle. And our touch community would have seen, but as of, I think, yesterday, the announcement of the NRL Touch Premiership for 2020. The Warriors are back in business with a men's and women's team. So I'm working with our high performance coaching staff as we start to piece together what a team would look like there.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, we'll have to get insight from someone who's on the ground doing the mahi, creating these pathways for our young men and women in the game.
Yeah, and
as we said, it does lead to higher honours and also opportunities in other sports as well.
Exactly. And events like the Nationals, our new event like the Premier Touch Leagues, both juniors and open nationals gives us an opportunity to think about where the jigsaw puzzle for a Warriors team would come from. So how does selection work for Warriors, where it's part of both a development focus we have
Yep.
and also a combination of making sure that we've got experience and our talented touch black players also in the mix. So
Yep.
it's not a touch black team
Yep.
disguised as Warriors. It's about how do we build the next layer and use the premiership to do that.
Cool, yeah. So there's plenty of opportunity out there for our young touch players to play at the elite level.
There certainly is. We've managed to, through the Premier Touch League, the Barbarians team, for just one example, with young talented players being able to take the field with the likes of Mitta Graham and just to be around touch black players with that experience.
Yep.
Carlos Savage,
Yep. Tiwi Davies,
Shannon Tamuri, all those
Yep.
type of players, So if you're a young person on the scene, to be able to learn and experience that pace is great. And same for the women's, with young players, the Tawaiponamu women's team, for example.
Did very well.
Did very well, and you've got talent there and Dana Turnbull, Meg Sycamore, lots of those who are still young players, being able to have, under 18s and
Yeah.
under 16 players.
And who are role models to these kids? You mentioned your Shannon Thormuris, your
All right.
Mitta Graham. For some of these kids, they get to play with their heroes. As we see, one of them in this Canterbury Red team, Jade Bowen, just too much speed down the left side there. The game's really opening up now.
It certainly is. And I mentioned earlier around Janelle Jade Bohm is another player not afraid to put in the hard work to make sure that she is in peak condition for not only national events but for any higher honours she makes herself available for. So, but let's not, forget the huge amount of learnings that you get from playing a game like this. Even though the scoreboard may be against you, to experience a game at pace is an opportunity to challenge yourself as a player and a team.
It's a key saying in touch. You either you win or learn.
Yeah.
You learn a lot more from a loss. So this Waikato development team will take a lot from this game. They get to come up and play some of the best in the country, and the likes of Canterbury. So 15th final here. We'll see what this Canterbury side can pull out of the hat. We've seen them attack on touch 1, touch 2. So we know they have a bit of magic tucked away there. Waikato come into their box, get some fresh legs on.
We've talked a lot about players and their skill sets on the field. We've got a number of players here. I mentioned earlier Selena William Pett, who's at university. We've got a number of players who are continuing studying past school, and players who are going into the workforce, or and through Canterbury we've got young families in there, so brings all sorts. This is the great thing about this game, brings all sorts of people doing diverse things in their lives together in this event.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said all sorts and of all ages as well. Game before this, we see the over 50 men out there still running. So it's good to see right from our younger grades and our IPS and our local modules right up to our, well, I wouldn't call them ko-matua, but to our older, more mature players. So touches for the whole whānau.
Aye, tika. Now you just see blowing in the wind back there down the right-hand side of the field, the silver fern flag. So it is a little bit windy down on ground level there. Bit of a nice, crisp, cool air as we go almost into the final 4 minutes of this game with the Canterbury Red team showing and commanding a great lead here. Waikato, however, like all Waikato teams, saying we are not rolling over. We play the full 40 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that we do talk about Waikato and the factory that produces so many great touch players for this Waikato team. No doubt they are in the pathway in the development stages to compete at this high level in the open women's at the nationals here.
Yeah, and we talk about pathways, and we also talk about giving back, and just want to acknowledge for those people who know Leanne Walker, who has been a stalwart of Waikato Touch for many years. Leanne is on the board of Touch New Zealand.
Kia ora.
Been captain of the New Zealand Women's Touch team, captain of the Women's Tour Ferns, Olympian, went to the Olympics for the basketball, and we studied together at Waikato University. We all played for university, so it's great to have someone of Leanne's ilk to be able to give back to the game now at the governance level, Touch New Zealand.
So we see little errors creeping in here for this Waikato side. Just over 2 minutes to play. Canterbury will look to control and close this match out. They look to shift, get some fresh legs on. The Kahu here with the ball, making her way up the field. See these back doors coming on. 15 final here. They'll go to the short pass off the scoop. No, sorry, this is the 15 final. Get one extra, looking for a mate, and beautiful athleticism shown by our number 12, Chloe Williamson.
And here we go in the Bunnings warehouse replay. Again, we talk about platform. We talk about it being steady. Canterbury play the man first, find the space, finds her player, and just like that, the juggernaut continues. And Chloe Williamson touchdown as we go into the final 90 seconds of the game. Again, we'd just like to acknowledge our sponsors here, Bunnings Warehouse, Endowment New Zealand, One Foundation, SAS Sport, exclusive apparel partner, and Silver Ferns Sport, our exclusive touchball partner. All contributing to not just this event, but to the game of touch across the country.
Tika tonu, and this Waikato team was unfortunate not to score down this short side. Samantha Rodley had a nice little dive down this short side. Unfortunately, the touch was called. So we see this Canterbury side with what would possibly be their last set of the match. Coming in hot. Nice little scoop here. And it's the same combination again. Number 5, Jade Bowen, passes it on to number 9, Kavanagh. And they'll finish up this match. And that's the game. Canterbury take the win over Waikato Black in this open women's grade here at the 2020 Bunnings Warehouse. Canterbury come away trumps 11 points to 0. If I can plug the pathway.